Hello, Nick. All right, so I have decided on the next game that I'm going to play, and it is Vive L'Empereur. Um, this is a special game because I got it free from my Meandering Mike. Funny story. Um, I He had his, I think his, was it 1,000 subscribers? Yeah, I think 1,000 subscriber party. I had gotten there late, tuned in late, and I tuned in, and in the chat, I saw a bunch of people like doing A, B, C, stuff like that, and I figured, oh, he must be having a game giveaway or whatever. So just in as a joke, I put J because that's the first letter of my name, and it ended up that was the correct answer, and I think there was some illusion that I was a genius in musical study or something, but I wasn't, and I fessed up and felt kind of guilty about it. And but Mike was still gracious enough to say, "Hey, I got it right," so he sent me this. So I don't win too many things, so this was pretty awesome. So pretty excited about this. Um, this is so I don't know much about Waterloo, other than I don't know little bits and pieces here and there. There's a book I think. Oh, what's the? There's a podcast, Napoleonic Wars podcast that I listened to, and I think they had an interview maybe a year or so ago with I don't know if it was Graham McAllister was his name, but he wrote a book about Durland's Corps at Waterloo, which sounded really interesting. My plan, is try to kind of read Chandler along from the beginning and kind of play my games for those battles as I go. Of course, I broke that since I've been reading the book about Relisa and Vimiero since I got that Glory and Empire, which kind of that's been kind of put on the back burner, has it? I haven't really read much about that lately, and I was going to reread the rules again and didn't. Me replaying Montanonte and then playing Dago kind of has that in the waiting list, and then with this kind of put that back. So, anyways, I don't know a whole lot about Waterloo, so this will be interesting. Um, Got a nice short little. This is a solitaire game on the Battle of Waterloo. Um, I will be playing the French, and the game plays the coalition. Um, got a so when they move, you roll on this charts and tells you what they do, and there's target priorities and such. Pretty cool stuff. Short little rule book, only 8 pages, and it has a pretty comprehensive example of play. And I just read through this. I'm not gonna. I'm gonna just do my own. I'm not gonna play through this on camera for you. That I don't know. That not to throw shade out there, but I think maybe I haven't seen it in a while. But I know there used to be a dearth of people would get games and then they would just kind of play through the example of play, and it's like if I have the game, I can play. I can do that. I want to see it played differently. Just get different ideas of things. Though then you kind of have to bring your rules knowledge and interpretation into it if you're not just following along in the example of play. But anyways, just one of my things. It's like if that's when I find something on a game I'm excited about, and because I want to, maybe I'm trying to figure out, some why this tactic, why that mechanism, and then when it's just they're playing through the example of play, it just I don't know, kind of annoying to me because it's like, well, I can do that. I want to see something different. I found, I guess this is errata. They call it updates. The only thing that I really found, like, the only thing that I found actually was wrong in my or different in my copy, so that this is needed was the setup, 6 core. Or no, I think that was even. I think that was even correct. 6-core. Yeah, that's the same. So really, the only thing that I think that I found, except maybe this the numbering in here. Oh, maneuver 1. I don't know. I guess the only thing then that I see that is wrong is for the old nosy table, the thin red line column. In the entry in the book, it says it's +1 strength point, +1 elan rating, and here's the thin red line counters, and on the back it says British infantry units defending in close combat +2 SP. So that's different. So that's the only thing I see different on here. So odd. I don't know. Maybe there was a version before this. I don't know. So we'll just have to remember that about that counter. Got a player aid card, which should help with the different actions in the game. And here's some very sturdy counters. And holy crap, when I opened this box, I thought I opened it when Mike originally sent it to me, but I hadn't noticed. But this time when I opened it, holy crap! It's like somebody was smoking in that box. I think it's those old laser cut counters. It's like, man, I hope my insurance guy isn't spying through the window and smelling this and thinking, aha, you lied, you're a smoker, we're gonna raise your premiums. But anyways, gotta print those out, or not print those out, punch them out, and get them ready. And then here's the map. So big keys on the map, and like I've heard of these things, like La Haye Saint, Hougoumont, these ridges. I've heard of these things. I have never read a book on the actual battle and such. I don't. Oh, I do have one game, at least one other game I remember on it. It's that Mark Herman one that came in C3I. It was a follow-up to the Gettysburg game, which played the Gettysburg game opposed, and it was all right. I wasn't a huge fan of it. Who I played it against really, I don't think, enjoyed it. And I thought I heard that the Waterloo version was supposed to be better. I know the map was a lot bigger. I think the rules maybe were bigger, and I don't know. I just didn't feel like I wanted to bother with that. I don't know. Maybe once I get to that point in my Napoleonic study, maybe then I'll want to break it out. But we'll see. So, anyways, that's just kind of a brief intro. I can't tell you a whole lot about the historicalness of where the attacks are and all that stuff, but so this will be definitely off the rails from the start historically, because I don't know the history, so I'm just gonna do my dumb maneuvers, and we'll see how it happens. So, all right, I'm gonna go get this set up, and we'll be back. I don't know if well, I guess I'll talk about that later. All right, finally getting back to this. Was able to find some appropriately colored dice. We've got all the necessary chits in our draw cup. I found an old tweezers I had that actually fits these monster counters, so that'll be good. Setup was pretty easy. It's pretty much spelled out for the English, and for the French, each corps had to set up within certain number of hexes of a certain hex. So I've done that. Not saying it's the greatest. I've got these washers on the board to mark the victory point locations. There's little stars in the corners of each hex, but I wanted to call it out for myself. And then I've got these washers here, or not washers, you know what they are, KTX markers, plumbing, tile separators, whatever. But I've got these here. The French aren't allowed to enter that because that's the side that the Prussians will arrive on. We've got, we'll have to determine the start turn here shortly, but we've got the Prussian Corps arrivals set to where they should be. We've got the Anglo-Allied start with units on ridges. Their target number to hit is 5. And we've got these out here to try to help us remember that there's a condition in effect that we need to take into account. And I think that's really it. We're playing just the standard game. Oh, my cat is trying to grab the what is it? The thing that you pull the shade down with. Hey! Hold on a second. All right, I'm gonna have to start threatening her that if she's not good when I let her in here, that she's gonna have to start playing games with me. All right, so let's. So as I was saying, we're playing the standard game. There is an optional rule, Where's Gruchy, which brings some extra things in, or you can opt for just a free French setup instead of doing it where they're tied to by the other setup rules, and then you can have as historical or whatever as you want. If you want to have the Prussians enter on the turns that they actually entered on, and then like the start, a fixed start. But we're gonna do the rainy start. So what this means is we're waiting until the proper time that Napoleon decides that he wants to launch it. So right now it's raining, so we're on game turn 1, the 9 a.m. turn. We're going to roll a die. If it's a 5 or a 6, that means the game begins immediately. So here's that roll. We got a 1. So it does not start, so this stuff moves up. So now we're going to add +1 to this roll and still need a 5 or a 6. 4 + 1 is 5, so the game is going to start at the 10 a.m. turn. So it looks like the historical start was game turn 3, so we're going to get a little bit of an advanced start, which will be good for us. I don't know how much I'll get into this. Probably I'll kind of do like I did with my Library Napoleonics battles, where the first time that I'm doing something like an attack of a certain type, I'll kind of go through it to introduce it. Yeah, basically on the counters. Let's see. Maybe I can just hold this up here. Boy, my camera does not want to. There we go. So, okay. So the top, it's got the name of the unit on the left top. On the right top is the corps that they belong to that they'll activate with. The stripe at the top, the color denotes which side they're on. The blue here is the normal French. There's a purple stripe top, which is the Guard troops, and then the British have like an orange or a reddish stripe. Why, man, I cannot. All right, maybe that's. So then the top number on the left there, the 7. That's their. Let me just make sure that I call it the right things. Hold on. Let's see. All right, so that's the top number. The 7 is their strength points, so that's a pretty strong unit. The middle, gosh, I apologize. The middle number there with the black circle, that is their artillery factor, and the bottom number, the 4, is their elan rating. So SP is used when they're in a melee attack, or close combat, they call it in this game. the artillery factors used when they do a bombardment attack, and there are actual artillery counters also, which are more powerful. And then the ELAN rating is used to, their resistance to hits and becoming battle worn. So, kind of makes sense. All a normal trope in games and such. So, I think things should go well. I have no idea. This looks like a very formidable force here. I think I had an idea like, oh, maybe I could take focus on LaHaye first, push through there and come around that side, but the Prussians showing up in my rear then wouldn't be good. So I think we're gonna try to assault Hougoumont, clear that, and maybe burst through here so we can get at some of those victory point hexes back there. And we're going to have to leave some force back here to keep the British from getting a little frisky and try to take our victory point hexes that we already control here in Planchenois. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right. And when the Prussians come on, to keep them from taking that. So it's kind of the general plan. We'll see if how well I can stick to it and how well I can execute it. But we'll get started next time. So laters.